oh, that's just weird type of response, then maybe we can have a meaningful conversation about the differences of worldview. And that's when you'll discover that your worldview is utterly incoherent, self-contradictory. Once you have a consistent worldview to compare it to, then you'll see that yours is just all over the place in comparison to the consistent worldview that would actually explain why human beings are the way they are. See? That's how that works.
Why can't it be understood within the context of currently available scientific wisdom?
Right.
Why can't? Because we're clinicians,
Right.
and we're looking at this from this clinical perspective. And
We're clinicians. Really? We're clinicians. Dr. Drew, question. If you took a blood sample from Bruce Jenner and analyzed it and looked at the DNA of the blood sample, would it indicate a male or a female? As a clinician, you live, Dr. Drew, in a day where we have more incontrovertible evidence of the unique human nature of every unborn child than any generation before us. So as a clinician, you oppose abortion, right? Right, Dr. Drew? Right, Erica? You're clinicians. You just go with the scientific facts, don't you? Yeah. Okay.
let that conversation out.
But that's where there's fear. That's why I said that to him. He's like scared. It's almost like it's if his. I hate to say it, but
fear. There's fear, which is why we're open about discussing this, and we want to have debate, and we want to give fair time to both sides, and you don't is because we're afraid. That's called projection, Erica. That's called projection. That's where you're the one who is actually afraid, but to cover your fear, you project that upon the other individual. Maybe they didn't cover this in your Master of Arts degree in psychotherapy, but that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And now we're about to get a real interesting section.
almost something about when you're too religious, it's like a form of insanity. And
But,
it's
well,
like
there is such a thing as a
It's like when you're too religious, it's a form of insanity. So, yeah, is that the clinician speaking? Is this a formal psychoanalysis of me as insane? You know, we can sit here and chuckle because it's so obvious that the poor young lady has no idea what she's talking about. I mean, here is the essence of the American educational system. No meaningful liberal arts background, no knowledge of the discussion that mankind has had over all of these years in regards to ethics and morality and philosophy and any of these things. Just complete blissful leopard-spotted ignorance. You know? So we almost have to feel sorry for the poor young lady, that she has been deprived of a meaningful education and hence is speaking from such abject ignorance. But, before we get too sorry for her, I said it before, I'll say it again. Every single person on this program would vote in a nanosecond to have my civil liberties removed for saying what I said, even in their ignorance. And the worst part is, that's the kind of person who might be used by the government to analyze Christians to see whether they should be put away.
Wasn't that part of the Soviet solution?
Oh, yeah. See, once you got totalitarian governments, these people are given the power because they're puppets. Since they're not reflective, they don't ask questions. They just go with the flow. Then they'll accept what they're told, and the result is, wow. Think about it. How would you like to have her as the court-appointed psychotherapist to determine whether you need treatment? Could never happen, right? You sure? I mentioned a couple years ago, briefly on the dividing line, when I came back from my second trip to teach in Berlin, that on one of the days we went and visited the Stasi prison. The Stasi prison is a prison that existed in East Germany for political prisoners during the East German years under communist rule and dominion. And obviously it was an extremely sobering thing. But what you must understand is that these people don't realize that the worldview they've embraced has no meaningful moral difference from the worldview of the people who tormented individuals in that Stasi prison. There's no meaningful difference. There's no meaningful difference. The revolution has happened. And we lost. We lost. We lost the war. The wall may have fallen down, but that doesn't mean we won the war. And this woman just said that I'm insane. On the basis of less than 2 minutes of conversation and her unmitigated, arrogant ignorance and willingness to project onto me her thoughts, feelings, emotions, and very, very, very poorly formed worldview. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. And I'm only a minute and 51 in.
It's abuse, but let's not go there.
Okay,
Let's
but
not
no,
go
I want to respect.
Here's the thing.
Did you catch that? Let's not go there. Thank you, Dr.